I introduce you to the Honorable Mayor of Newark, New Jersey, the state's largest city, Mayor Baraka.
You want to lead us right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Good morning. Yeah, I was all riled up 15 minutes ago. Don't want you to get that riled up again. So I want to first thank the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. I've actually heard of it. Probably the only one in the room. But I appreciate the work that they do and consistently do, ultimately for making sure that businesses who do not have opportunity get opportunity, that they have information and education, especially in a state where less than 1% of all of the procurement or goods and services that the state spends its money on, less than 1% goes to African American businesses, Latino businesses, and women-held businesses in the state based on a disparity study. And where I live in Essex County, less than 0.5% gets those opportunities. In a county that predominantly is black, brown, and women, for that matter. So the work that you do is incredibly important, along with so many other chambers of commerce like you, the Latino Chamber of Commerce, LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and on and on and on and on. Make it possible for businesses that are left out and looked over to be a part of an economy that hopefully is growing. And so many of you, hopefully you want to start businesses or engage in one way or another to make your lives better, your community better, your families better. And so you need organizations like the African American Chamber of Commerce and those like that to help you engage state contracts, individuals, elected officials, people. So it's important to know them. So I'm glad you're here early, How many people heard of Visa? Visa, right? Visa made $32 billion without owning any banks. Just the cards, without owning any banks. How many of you heard of Spotify? I know all of you heard of Spotify. Spotify made $14 billion, this is last year, without owning any music. And Expedia, I don't know if y'all know Expedia. Your parents might know Expedia. This is how we go get out when we travel. Expedia made $12 or $13 billion, and they don't own a single hotel. And Lyft, we know Lyft, right? Lyft, Uber. Lyft made $5 billion last year, period, and they don't own any cars. When I was younger, I used to go to a place called Tower Records. I'm sure you don't know what Tower Records is. I used to go to the place, a couple of you old guys in here know Tower Records. I used to go to a place in Lincoln Center in New York. I used to go to Lincoln Center because I used to love, the Tower Records was huge. I think it might have been the biggest one in the area. They let you put on the headphones in there. You could put on the headphones and listen to any kind of music you wanted. So I would put on the headphones and listen to music in there, spend an hour in there and probably buy nothing, but spend an hour in there listening to music and get out of there. Sometimes you buy something, sometimes you don't. But those are all gone now. There are no more Tower Records. Not because they had they mismanaged their money, or not because they went bankrupt, because the industry changed and the model changed. And so Napster, Spotify, Tidal, all these things, all these sharing platforms became available so people could share music with one another on a digital space without going to buy it. I could buy the music offline. And so Tower Records was not important anymore. So they all went out of business, right? So you didn't have to actually go get an album. You didn't actually have to go get a CD. I used to love getting CDs. When I was younger, we had tapes. So we had tape cassettes, and we used to dub tapes. So when I went to college, people from different communities, different states, we would dub the music, or I would say record the music in New Jersey, because we played club music and all kind of music, Stretch and Bobbito. I don't know if these old folks know. Used to play kind of hip hop. And I used to bring it to D.C. and let other people record it. So we used to exchange music that way. This way, now you don't have to exchange music like that. I could just tell you. As a matter of fact, you could put your phone up and listen to something playing, and your phone will tell you what the album is, what the music is, who did it, all this kind of fancy stuff. But we didn't have that then. But now those opportunities exist because of the industry and how it's changed, right? And people beginning to use their information about the industry itself and about people's habits to be able to create something new, something different, something disruptive. And that's really what I wanted to share with you today, is to not have, or to have the courage to be disruptive, to use your education to be disruptive. And I know when you hear the word disruptive, we usually mean to do something maybe obnoxious or loud or crazy or interrupt somebody or act wild. But disruptive in this sense means to disrupt what's happening to create something new, something different, something advanced. That's the disruptive I mean. So the Uber and Lyft disrupted the whole transportation industry. Taxis are almost non-existent. They're fighting for their life in cities all over the world, trying to, because they have to buy these medallions that cost so much money to pay for that and get you in a taxi when you could just order an Uber right away, right? There are a lot of casinos in the country, in New Jersey, that are suffering today because people can gamble on their phones now. They don't have to go to the casino. They just gamble on their phones, right? This is what's happening. So there are a lot of small businesses that are suffering, a lot of retail businesses that are suffering because folks don't have to go to the store anymore. They have to go to the mall anymore. Amazon can deliver stuff to your house. You can order clothes and shoes and all these things to your home. They've disrupted those economies. They disrupted that market and created something new. Now, in order for you to be successful, you're going to have to be disruptive. In order for you to win, you're going to have to be disruptive. Particularly, most of us in an economy that was not created for us to be involved in it at that level. We're going to have to disrupt the inequity that I talked about earlier. We're going to have to disrupt the fact that people don't have access. We're going to have to get more access to more people. Could you imagine if a product you sold could get access to more people than the people that have access to it now? If you can get those people opportunity to improve their lives, opportunity to improve their education, opportunity to have more money in their household, in their pocket, and then you have a product that you can offer them, how that helps you and helps the economy. How do you become disruptive enough to get people out of their old thinking, out of their old ways that's holding the economy back, holding people back, holding nationalities and generations, whole communities back, right? But also as an opportunity to create wealth for yourself, as an opportunity to create upward mobility for yourself. So this disruption also takes courage. It also takes risk. If you don't have the courage, then you're not able to take the risk. Maya Angelou said that out of all the values, we know who Maya Angelou is, right? I don't want to. So everybody knows who Maya Angelou is, right? Everybody knows who Maya Angelou is. Okay. I just want to be. We are talking to students. I want to make sure that at least we know who Maya Angelou is, right? So Maya Angelou said that in all of the values that people, suggest or have, that the most important one is courage. Because courage gives you the ability to practice all the other ones. Because it doesn't matter if you believe in equity, but you don't have the courage to practice it. It doesn't matter if you believe in kindness, but you don't have the courage to practice it in a room full of evil people or people that are being mean, right? It doesn't matter if you believe in respect, but you're afraid to practice respect in a place that has lifted up disrespect, right? You have to have the courage to stand alone and practice your values in a place where those values may not be popular. That's what I took from what Maya Angelou was saying, right? That courage is the most important thing because it gives you the ability to practice everything else. And so if I say I have all of these incredible values, I have to have the courage to practice them. Now, courage is important because in order for me to take a risk, I have to have courage because at the end of that risk could be failure. You could lose it all on a pitch and toss. You can take a risk and everything you put on the line goes away, disappears. You're not successful in what you've done. But you have to have the courage to get back up and try it again. And I want to tell you that it is difficult right now to be a young person in this country, in this world right now. It's probably the most difficult time. There are probably other difficult times in history. I'm sure there were more difficult times in history, but now it is one of those equivalent times. Very difficult to be a young person now with all of this information that's being thrown at you, trying to discern which is right and which is wrong, which is good and which is bad, which is true and which is false, right? Trying to figure out what are you going to do in a place where it seems like everybody is at odds and you're just trying to figure out how to get back and forth to school in the morning, right? Where it feels like things, communities are at each other's throats, and you're really trying to figure out how you're going to graduate from school and what you're going to do when you get out of high school. And so I know it's difficult, but I want to tell you that, you already have what you need. That the right tools and the proper discipline will get you anything that you desire. All you need to do is put yourself in the right place at the right time. I believe that this is the right place right now, and this is actually the right time. And if you believe you're intelligent, and I know some of us believe we are intelligent, we believe we're intelligent because we've compared ourselves to other people around us or even people in a neighboring town, I would say you would be wrong. That you have to compare yourself, to your latest accomplishment, the last problem you solved, the last road you traveled on. Your success cannot be weighted on simply how much you know, but it must be drawn from how big your imagination is, how creative you can become, how much courage you can hold in your heart, that when everybody is going in one direction, that you could go in the other direction, right? I used to be a principal, and when kids got in trouble, and I catch them, one of the things they would say is, "Why you talking to me? I wasn't the only one." Y'all familiar with that? I wasn't the only one talking. I wasn't the only one late. I wasn't the only one. We used to say I wasn't the only one. And I would repeat to them that that's too bad, because the reason I'm stopping you is because I want you to be the only one. And the people who were the only one throughout history are the ones who actually made the transformative things happen that needed to happen. The great changes that we talk about, these were people that were the only one. So when everybody else is talking, you should probably be the only one that's not. When everybody is going in this direction, you should probably be the only one that's going in the other direction. When people think that things are not going to work, you should probably be the only one that believes that they are. When everybody thinks that this is funny as a joke and we're going to have fun, you should be the only one that's focused, that's serious, that realizes that this is important. And I would guarantee you probably get something out of that nobody else got, because they're following the crowd and you're being the only one. It's important to understand that you have to take risks, that you risk failure and try again without hesitation. Can you speak your ideas into noisy crowds? Can you present everything you have to a mob of non-believers? Can you be yourself in a place that rewards sameness, that penalizes you for what God created? Can you take all your differences, difficulties, issues, problems, and use them as a means for your success? And more importantly, can you rely on your problems to help you solve some of the world's most difficult issues? That's actually what we need. Anything short of that is not sufficient. We need you to take all of your obstacles, all of your pain, all of your difficulties, all of the issues that you have, and use your experiences to help engage the difficulties and the problems that all of us face collectively. Anything short of that is insufficient. I recently watched a clip of myself at 24 years old. I was on Cablevision in Newark debating Sharp James, who was the mayor then. I was 24 years old when I ran for mayor. I watched that clip. He became the mayor of Newark in 1986. I know that feels like ancient history to most of you in here. But he became the mayor in 1986. I was on my way to college on a train in 1986, catching Amtrak down to Howard University. My best friend was catching a 13 on Clinton Avenue to turn itself in Annandale. Annandale is a youth correctional facility, right? And it gave me the determination in college to understand that I needed to come back home to make sure that more kids were on the train to school and less on the bus to the correctional facility. But I watched myself in that debate, and almost 10 years later, I actually, after I left Howard University, I actually came back and ran for mayor of the city of Newark, where I was born and raised in. Obviously, I lost that race. God is good, because I probably should have lost that race. At 24 years old, I lost, but I ran 16 years in a row. Election after election after election after election, and I lost all of them. I didn't win an election until 2010. I started running in 1994 with poetry readings and fish fries, and I raised about $10,000. I thought I was a millionaire, and I ran for mayor against a huge character in our city and lost. And after that, I ran and ran and ran and ran and ran, and I lost and lost and lost over and over and over and over again. And people asking me even today, why did you keep running? And I would say, finally, at some point, I wasn't afraid to lose anymore. That I learned so much from that process, and it doesn't mean it wasn't painful, that it didn't hurt, that it didn't drain me of everything I had. But when you want something bad enough and you're focused and committed to it, losing and falling down is a part of getting closer to the goal. So the fact that I lost and I was alive still, the fact that I lost and I was around still, the fact that I lost and I still could breathe, move, talk, think, right? The fact that I lost and my self-esteem wasn't completely destroyed, and the fact that I lost and I could do it again meant that I probably should do it again. Because I could do it again, I did. And I did it again and again and again and again. And that just tells us that falling down is actually a part of winning. Because the most important lesson in falling down is getting up. That the most important part of losing is figuring out how not to lose the next time around. That failure is a part of success. The problem is we've been taught that failure makes you a failure. But failure is actually a part of learning. If you don't fail, how can you learn? How do you know what's right if wrong didn't exist? So it's possible, improbable that you're going to fail, that you're going to get answers wrong, that you're going to say something wrong and do something wrong. But learning from the wrong and the failure is what brings you closer to success, what brings you closer to victory, what brings you closer to winning. And I think that that's what happened to me. And look, there's going to be people that are going to tell you over and over again that what you're doing is silly, that it's outrageous. The people that will never support your dreams, they will always disagree with you and think what you want is crazy, ridiculous, unrealistic. But I want you to take comfort in the fact that it is not necessary for anybody to believe that you're going to be successful but you. That the only person that you really need to believe in your dreams in the beginning is you. You should take comfort in that. Now, a part of this process of education that you're involved in is also about building up your confidence, building up your self-esteem, helping you have the courage to tackle big things, to solve big problems, to face challenges that nobody else faces. That's what school should be giving you, right? Putting a picture of yourself in front of you that shows you as a superhero. If school does not give you the ability to tackle incredible problems, then it's not preparing you to be successful. Mediocrity will not help you win. Blending in will not help you win. Doing what everybody else is doing will not help you win. School should be teaching you to be a superhero. My son, I have a young son now, and he's 5. He thinks he's Spider-Man. Literally. Like he goes around the house and shoots webs out of his hand. And after a while, I pretend to get tangled up in them and fall down. And he jumps off the bed and runs and hits me. And I guess I'm supposed to fall back. And so I fall back. And sometimes I fall on the ground. And he gets up and he's like he actually did it. Like he actually believes he's super strong. And I love that because I want him to believe that at 35. I want him to believe that at 45. I want him to believe, I don't want him to believe he's Spider-Man. I want him to believe that he has superhuman capabilities, that he could do things that nobody else can do, that he can create magic and move heavy obstacles, that he can create things in the palms of his hands, that he can think things and it'll take place. That his ability to change his circumstance lies with him. That he has the capability to change things because he's a superhero. Usually the reverse happens. Babies and children, when you ask them what they want to be, they all want to be superheroes. In their mind, they see it, they believe they can do this. It is only when we go to school, it is only when we encounter other people, it is only when we start learning, unfortunately, that we begin to believe that we do not have those superpowers anymore. That our question marks turn to periods. That we believe we can't accomplish things. We can't do things because of where we live, because of our nationality, because of our gender, because of all the obstacles that people put in our way to prevent us from doing the things that we are born to do. And so I want him to believe and you to believe that you can actually move those obstacles out of your way. Out of your way. And I bet you, my son, when I fall on the ground and I act like I'm disabled and I can't move around and so forth and so on, he stands over me. He believes that he did that he thinks he can really do that again and again and again to other people or to other things. And that's really what I think of when I think of education, right, and mobility and disruption. I think of your imagination, your creativity, your thought process, right? All of these things that we should be preparing you for. We should be giving it to you and laying it out for you so that when you get into the larger world, not the real world because you live in the real world, but the larger world, that the things that you face won't knock you down and keep you there, won't destroy you. That you know what it is that you need to do and why you need to do this. Lastly, I think that you have to feel like none of these problems are going to get solved unless you come up with the equation yourself. That it won't be invented unless you invent it. That the entire world is actually waiting for you. And that sounds a little almost like narcissist almost, that you believe. But I want you to believe before you leave high school, that there's a problem out there that only can be solved by you. I want you to believe that there's something that needs to be invented, that the world is waiting for you to invent it. I want you to believe there's a business that has not been developed yet because they're waiting for you to graduate from high school and college to develop it. That there are problems that the world is facing that only you can solve. And all you have to do is finish high school and go to college and get yourself together and you can help solve these problems. I want you to believe that what's happening in the world, all of the craziness that's going on in the world, that you can disrupt it, right? The economy, the way it exists today, that you can disrupt it. right? That the housing shortage that the state has, that you can disrupt that. You can figure out how to build housing in the state of New Jersey and not destroy other people's communities. That you can figure out how to bring wealth to neighborhoods and not leave people in poverty. That you can build schools in communities that all kids have access to, that educate kids to the highest levels, right? That your economy doesn't leave people in poverty in their neighborhoods, not having enough money for health care, not having enough money for child care. That you create opportunity for people in this community, that you can solve these problems, that you can do that. I want you to leave high school believing that everything that we're facing, that we're fighting about on TV, that we don't have the capability to solve, because if we did, we would have already, that it won't be solved until you graduate from high school, until you leave those buildings and move away from your family, until you go to college and get what you need. When you come back, it's going to be over. That when you do your hands like this, that webs will come out. That when you push heavy objects, they're going to fall to the ground. There are all kinds of things that are preventing us from being equal, for creating opportunity, for dividing wealth so that everybody can experience it, that you can create that and make those things happen and not become cynical or drawn into spaces or choose sides where there are no sides to choose anyway. We need you to think, be committed, be courageous, be disruptive, right? That's what we need from you every single day. Why? The world has become more technologically advanced and smaller, yet we're more divided than we've ever been. We've created all kinds of means. We could probably travel anywhere in the world we want to. Heck, we can go to the moon. We can go to Mars. We can do all kinds of things. We have enough wealth to send people back and forth to the moon, but we don't have enough wealth to make sure people don't die giving birth in hospitals. So the world is at an advanced stage economically, at an advanced stage politically, but we're still crawling on all fours socially. And which means that your job is incredibly important. So I'm actually, in some instances, shirking my responsibility by saying, I can't solve it all today in a present sense, but I'm being pragmatic and realistic by telling you that these problems are going to be solved when you guys are ready to solve them. That these things are going to be fixed when you're ready to fix them. That the businesses are going to change when you're ready to change them. Tower Records changed because young people started listening to music in a different way. Taxis are in trouble because young people started going to call Uber and Lyft. All these businesses are in trouble. Retail is in trouble. The malls are in trouble. I used to live to go to the mall. I love to be in the mall. But the malls are in trouble because y'all keep using Amazon. Right? So the minute you change your behavior, your patterns, your focus, everything changes. That's how much power you have. Now just be focused. Be determined. Get as much information as you can. Be around people that make you feel like you're a superhero. And then build the courage to attack the most difficult things out here. And watch how quick everything changes. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. Okay, because she said something else.
To the guys for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Let's give up a round of applause again for the mayor. Thank you, thank you.